The Eko Duo stethoscope is a small electronic device that fits in the palm of your hand. It has 2 electrodes on the rear, which captures the electrical activity of the heart for an ECG, as well as the bell, which captures heart and lung sounds. It has an earpiece attachment that screws into the bottom port, which allows you to use the device as a traditional stethoscope. When the Eko Duo stethoscope is paired to a VA-issued iPad during a VA Video Connect session, or VVC, the audio and ECG captured by the stethoscope can be live-streamed or transmitted to a provider at a remote location. This is made possible through the iPad's data plan. This system and configuration is ideal for patients that can't come in for outpatient clinic evaluations due to functional mobility issues, rural proximities, or global pandemic lockdowns. To pair the Eko Duo stethoscope to the iPad, just locate and launch the VA Video Connect application. Then press the Bluetooth icon in the upper right corner of the screen. Then press and hold the main button on the Eko Duo stethoscope for 2 seconds. When the Bluetooth pairing request box appears, tap on Pair. When the animated stethoscope box on the upper right side of the screen appears, this indicates that the stethoscope is successfully paired. To livestream the Eko Duo stethoscope's data to a provider, we must create and enter a VVC virtual medical room. To do this, we use the VVC URL Generator Excel spreadsheet. You can find this Excel spreadsheet on our SharePoint under Staff Education in a folder called Eko Duo. Simply enter the VA-issued iPad serial number found on the back of each iPad into the spreadsheet, and it will generate a web URL and other data you will need later when you are entering the virtual medical room out in the field. The provider will simply copy and paste the URL into any browser on their computer, enter the required name field at the top, and click Connect. The Select Microphone and Video Camera screen opens. In most cases, the provider will leave these on default settings, and click Start. The provider has now entered the VVC's virtual medical room, where they will meet the RN care manager and patient. Out in the field, the RN care manager will enter the same virtual medical room as the provider. To do this, locate and launch the VA Video Connect icon on the iPad's home screen. Then press the Select to Continue button at the bottom of the screen. Enter the appropriate information from the VVC URL Generator Excel spreadsheet and tap Connect. The iPad is now connected to the provider's VVC virtual medical room. Once the provider confirms that the audio and video are being received from the iPad, the RN care manager will power on the Eko Duo stethoscope by holding on the main button for 2 seconds. Once the Eko Duo stethoscope is powered on during a VVC session, a small stethoscope icon will appear on the lower left side of the iPad's VVC session window. Sometimes you may have to minimize the session's participants column on the left to see the icon. Once the RN care manager taps the stethoscope icon, a small link will appear underneath the patient in the participants column. This indicates the Eko Duo stethoscope is live streaming its ECG, heart, and lung sound data to the provider. On the provider side of the VVC session, a red notification icon will appear in the Events tab of the Participants column. When clicked, the provider will see a link underneath the patient in the Participants column. When clicking on this link, a new browser window will open, which will display the live ECG and audio waveform. The provider will also be able to hear the patient's heart and lung sounds at this time. Do not use the Eko Duo device with veterans that have a cardiac pacemaker or other electronic implanted devices. You can easily retrieve prior login information by clicking on the small clock icon in the upper right corner of the room field. Just select the previous login information and the iPad will auto-populate the appropriate fields. When holding the stethoscope during an assessment, it is recommended to place the device on the veteran's bare skin, holding still and applying some pressure. Using the stethoscope on top of clothing or on a hairy patch of skin can decrease the sound quality sent to the provider and hinder the ECG tracing. Be sure to avoid clicking on the large center button, as this would turn off the device and stop the transmission of the ECG, heart, or lung sounds. Capture an ECG by placing and orienting the stethoscope on the veteran's chest. The optimal position for capturing ECG data is by holding it at an inward-facing 45-degree angle at the upper left pectoral below the clavicle. Be sure to maintain a clear path of connection between the Eko Duo stethoscope and the iPad to avoid Bluetooth interference. To disconnect the stethoscope, press and hold the stethoscope's main button for 2 seconds, and the stethoscope icon will disappear from the session window. It is important to use high-quality headphones to hear heart and lung sounds optimally. For the best audio volume, you may need to check the computer's audio settings within the audio control panel. To access the control panel, click on the computer's settings icon, click on System, click on Sound, click Sound Control Panel, and click the Communications tab. Then make sure Do Nothing is selected, and click OK. On the Eko Duo telehealth page, different audio filters can be selected to adjust the audio quality. Click on the Applying Filters drop-down menu. Selecting Diaphragm, Bell, Mid-Range, and Extended will apply different filters to the audio being received from the Eko Duo stethoscope to adjust for the best audio quality. After the VVC session is complete, click on the 3 little dots on the top of the Participants column and select Disconnect All. This will ensure the virtual medical room is cleared and empty for the next VVC session. Caution: this device does not detect or measure all heart rate, heart rhythm, and heart waveform changes, so please review the Eko Duo caution guide for additional information. That concludes this presentation on how to perform a VVC Eko Duo live stream session with a provider here at the Tibor Rubin VA Medical Center.